Hey Pisces, welcome back. I need to talk to you about something that has been showing up in your reading, and honestly, it's both fascinating and a bit intense. Grab your coffee or tea because we need to unpack this energy together. So the theme here is about someone in your life who genuinely cannot comprehend how you're still standing, still moving forward, still thriving after everything they put you through. And the cards are showing me that this isn't just casual dislike. This person is actively bothered by your resilience. They thought they had you figured out, thought they knew your breaking point, and you just keep proving them wrong. Let me pull the cards, and we'll see exactly what's happening in this situation. The first card I'm drawing here is the Seven of Cups, and already I can see what's happening. This person had all these illusions about you, all these fantasies about how things would play out. They created this entire narrative in their head where you would crumble, where you would come crawling back, where you would be stuck in the pain they caused. The Seven of Cups is showing me that they were living in a fantasy world, genuinely believing their own delusions about who you are and what you're capable of handling. What's interesting about this card in your reading is that it's revealing their mental state. They've been sitting there with all these cups, all these possible scenarios playing out in their mind, and none of them included you actually being okay. None of them included you moving on and finding peace. They were so convinced that their actions would have a lasting, devastating effect on you, that they'd remain significant in your story, that you'd be defined by what they did. But here's what the Seven of Cups is really telling me about their psychology. They needed you to fail. They needed you to struggle. Because your success, your ability to move forward, it shatters every illusion they had about their own importance in your life. Every time you wake up and choose yourself, every time you take another step forward, you're destroying one of those cups, one of those false narratives they built. I'm seeing that this person checks on you, whether directly or through others. They're looking for signs of your struggle, evidence that supports their fantasy. And every time they find you doing better, thriving even, it eats at them. The Seven of Cups can indicate confusion, and now they're confused because reality doesn't match what they imagined. You were supposed to be broken. You were supposed to need them, or at least be affected by their absence or their actions in a way that validated their ego. The energy here is showing me that they genuinely cannot understand your strength. It's beyond their comprehension because they wouldn't be able to do what you're doing. If the roles were reversed, they'd be stuck in victim mode. They'd be telling everyone who would listen about what was done to them. They'd be using it as an excuse for years. But you're not doing that. You're quietly rebuilding, finding yourself again. And that terrifies them because it means they didn't matter as much as they thought they did. Moving to the second card, I have the Magician here. And Pisces, this is your energy. This is what's driving them absolutely crazy. The Magician represents manifestation, skill, resourcefulness, and the ability to use everything at your disposal to create the life you want. While they were busy living in Fantasyland with their Seven of Cups delusions, you were over here becoming the Magician, taking control of your reality. What I'm seeing with this card is that you've been doing the inner work. You've been learning, growing, developing new skills, new perspectives, new ways of being. The Magician has all four suit symbols on the table, representing all four elements, all aspects of life. You're not just healing in one area, you're transforming your entire existence. Your emotional world, your mental clarity, your spiritual connection, your material reality, all of it is being touched by this Magician energy. And this is what they cannot stand. They thought they took your power when they did whatever they did to you. They thought they left you powerless, maybe even hopeless. But the Magician is showing me that you found power they didn't even know existed within you. You discovered resources, both internal and external, that you might not have tapped into if you hadn't gone through this experience. I'm getting this really strong message that you've been manifesting things into your life that seem almost magical to outside observers. Maybe your career is taking off, maybe you're attracting better people, maybe your whole vibe has shifted into something more aligned and authentic. The Magician is a card of conscious creation, meaning you're not just accidentally stumbling into good things, you're deliberately calling them in. working for them, making them happen. Here's what really gets under their skin about your magician energy. It proves that you never needed them in the first place. All the tools you needed were already within you. They were just blocking you from accessing them. Your relationship or situation with them was actually limiting your potential. And now that you're free from that dynamic, you're showing what you're really capable of. The magician also represents communication and personal power in how you present yourself to the world. I'm seeing that you might be speaking up more, setting boundaries, showing people the real you without apology. This authentic expression of self is magnetic, and it's drawing opportunities and people toward you that are actually aligned with who you are. And every time they see evidence of this, whether through mutual connections or social media or however they're keeping tabs, it's a reminder that you're thriving without them. The third card coming through is the Chariot, and okay, this energy is intense. The Chariot is about victory, determination, willpower, and forward movement despite obstacles. This card is literally showing me that you are moving forward, and not in a passive way, but in a determined, focused, unstoppable way. You have a direction, you have goals, you have purpose, and nothing is going to knock you off course. What makes the Chariot so powerful in this reading is that it represents triumph after struggle. This isn't easy movement. This is movement that requires discipline and focus and absolute determination. You've been the person holding the reins, keeping your emotions in check when needed, pushing forward even on days when it felt impossible, staying focused on where you're going rather than where you've been. This person who can't stand your resilience, they're seeing your Chariot energy and it's incomprehensible to them. They threw everything they had at you, whether that was betrayal, cruelty, abandonment, manipulation, whatever their weapon of choice was. They expected it to stop you, to derail you, to send you spiraling. Instead, you took that pain and you used it as fuel. You harnessed it and directed it toward your goals. The Chariot often appears when someone has mastered the balance between opposing forces. You've learned how to honor your emotions while also not being controlled by them. You've learned when to push forward and when to rest. You've learned how to maintain your spiritual sensitivity as a Pisces while also developing the warrior energy needed to protect yourself and pursue your ambitions. This balance is something that takes incredible strength and self-awareness. I'm seeing that your forward movement is visible. People can see you're going somewhere, that you have momentum. And for this person who tried to keep you down, watching you speed past them is unbearable. The Chariot doesn't look back. It doesn't slow down to explain itself. It just keeps moving toward victory. That's what you're doing, and every day that you continue on your path is another day that proves their efforts to break you were ultimately powerless. The fourth card is the Three of Wands, and this is giving me chills because it's about expansion, foresight, and opportunities coming from afar. The Three of Wands shows a figure standing on a cliff, looking out at the horizon, at ships coming in. This is about your future, Pisces, and it's so much bigger than what you left behind. What this card is revealing is that while they're stuck obsessing over you and your resilience, you're literally looking toward horizons they can't even imagine. You're planning, you're preparing for opportunities, you're expanding your vision of what's possible for your life. The Three of Wands appears when someone has done the foundational work, planted the seeds, and now they're in the phase of watching those investments start to pay off. I'm getting that you might be exploring new opportunities that take you physically or metaphorically far from where you were. Maybe you're considering relocation. Maybe you're pursuing education or career paths that open up entirely new worlds. Maybe you're connecting with people and communities that are outside your previous circles. Whatever form it takes, the Three of Wands is about expansion beyond your current circumstances. This drives them crazy because it means you're not just surviving, you're not just moving forward, you're actually expanding. You're getting bigger, your life is getting richer, your possibilities are multiplying. They wanted you to contract, to get smaller, to diminish. Instead, you're claiming more space, more opportunity, more life. The Three of Wands also represents the confidence that comes from knowing you've made good decisions. You trusted yourself to leave or to change the situation. You trusted yourself to heal. You trusted yourself to build something new, And now you're starting to see evidence that your trust was well placed. This self-trust is visible in how you carry yourself. And it's yet another thing that bothers them, because it shows you don't doubt your decision to move on from whatever they represented in your life. I'm seeing that some of these opportunities coming your way are things they would have wanted for themselves or things they said you'd never achieve. The universe has a funny way of giving us exactly what we need to prove wrong the people who underestimated us. Your ships are coming in, and they have to watch from the shore, knowing they're not on any of those vessels. The fifth card here is the Ten of Wands. And we need to talk about this because it adds an important layer to your story. The Ten of Wands represents burden, responsibility, and the weight you've been carrying. This card is acknowledging that your resilience hasn't been effortless, that moving forward hasn't been easy, that there have been moments where the load felt unbearable. Here's what this card is showing me about why they can't understand your strength. They see the Ten of Wands, the burden you're carrying, all the responsibilities and challenges and healing work you're managing. They know on some level that what you're dealing with is heavy, and they absolutely cannot comprehend how you're still standing, still functioning, still moving forward while carrying all of that. If they were in your position, carrying your Ten of Wands, they would have collapsed by now. They would have given up, made it everyone else's problem, used it as an excuse to stop trying. But you're different. You're a Pisces, which means you have a spiritual resilience they don't understand. You have a connection to something greater than yourself that gives you strength they can't see or measure. The Ten of Wands is also showing me that you're in a phase where you're learning to put some of these burdens down. You're realizing that not everything is yours to carry, that you don't have to prove your strength by suffering in silence, that asking for help or releasing what no longer serves you isn't weakness. This maturation, this wisdom, it's part of what's propelling you forward. What bothers them about your Ten of Wands is that they probably added to your burden. Whether through their actions, their words, their betrayal, they put weight on your shoulders. They expected that weight to crush you. Instead, you've incorporated it into your journey, you've learned from it, and you're gradually transforming that burden into wisdom and strength. The fact that you can carry what they gave you, plus everything else life has thrown at you, and still move forward, it makes them feel small and powerless. I'm also getting that your struggle is quiet. You're not broadcasting your pain. You're not making a public spectacle of your healing journey. You're not seeking validation or sympathy from everyone around you. This private resilience is especially maddening to them because they can't use your struggle against you. They can't point to it as evidence that they broke you. You're handling your Ten of Wands with dignity and grace, and that's a level of maturity they don't possess. The sixth card is the Eight of Swords, and this is fascinating because it's showing me what they want for you versus what's actually happening. The Eight of Swords traditionally represents feeling trapped, restricted, blindfolded, unable to move forward. This is what they expected for you. They thought you'd be stuck in the pain, trapped in the past, unable to see a way forward. But here's the powerful message of the Eight of Swords in your reading. If you look closely at the traditional imagery, the swords don't actually form a complete prison. There's space to move, the blindfold can be removed, the bindings are loose. The trap is largely mental, and what the cards are showing me is that you recognize this. You saw through the illusion of being stuck. They tried to put you in a mental and emotional prison with their actions. They tried to make you believe you were trapped, that you had no options, that you couldn't survive without them or couldn't recover from what they did. The Eight of Swords represents all the limiting beliefs they tried to impose on you. But Pisces, you saw through it. You realized that the prison wasn't real, that you had more power than you initially thought, that you could remove the blindfold and walk away. This is what they genuinely cannot understand. How did you see through what they thought was such an effective trap? How did you find the strength to remove the blindfold and realize your own power? They were counting on you staying stuck, on you believing their narrative about your limitations. Your ability to break free from the Eight of Swords prison, whether physical or psychological, it completely disrupted their plans. I'm seeing that you might have surprised even yourself with this escape. There might have been a moment where you realized, wait, I'm not actually as stuck as I thought I was. I do have options. I can change this. That realization, that moment of clarity, it was the beginning of your transformation, and they've been seething ever since because they thought they had you contained. The Eight of Swords is also revealing that they might be trying to keep you in that prison through continued manipulation, or through flying monkeys, or through attempts to make you doubt yourself. But every day that you continue to move forward, you're proving that their Eight of Swords doesn't hold you anymore. You found the way out, and you're not going back. The seventh card coming through is the Ace of Cups. And Pisces, this is beautiful. This card represents new emotional beginnings, the opening of the heart, the flow of love and compassion, and positive feelings. While they're over there, stewing in resentment and confusion about your resilience, you're actually opening yourself up to new emotional experiences. The Ace of Cups is showing me that you're not hardened by what happened. You didn't let their actions close your heart permanently. Yes, you've developed better boundaries. Yes, you're more discerning about who gets access to you, but your essential capacity for love, for connection, for emotional depth, it's still there. In fact, it might be stronger now because it's more conscious and intentional. This is probably one of the most infuriating things about you from their perspective. They tried to break your heart, to make you cynical, to ruin your ability to trust and love. The Ace of Cups is showing me that they failed completely. You're still capable of deep feeling, still open to love in its various forms, still emotionally available to people who deserve it. Your heart survived what they did to it, and that survival is a testament to your spiritual strength as a Pisces. I'm seeing that new emotional opportunities are coming your way. Maybe new friendships that actually nurture you, maybe a romantic connection that's based on genuine care and respect. Maybe a creative project that lets you channel your emotions in a healing way, or maybe just a renewed relationship with yourself that's filled with self-love and self-compassion. The Ace of Cups is the beginning of a new emotional chapter, and you're ready for it. What they can't stand is watching you be happy. They wanted you to be emotionally destroyed, unavailable, closed off, bitter. Instead, you're holding an overflowing cup of emotional possibility. You're proof that people can go through terrible things and still maintain their capacity for joy, for connection, for love. Your Ace of Cups is a direct contradiction to everything they tried to make you believe about yourself. The Ace of Cups also represents intuition and spiritual connection, which as a Pisces is your natural domain. I'm getting that your spiritual practices, whether that's meditation, prayer, tarot, spending time in nature, whatever feeds your soul, these practices have been crucial in your healing. You've been filling your own cup from divine sources, and that self-sufficiency is something they never anticipated. The eighth card is Justice, and we need to talk about this because it's heavy and important. Justice represents karma, cause and effect, truth coming to light, and balance being restored. This card is telling me that there's a cosmic ledger being balanced here and not in their favor. What Justice reveals in this reading is that everything they did to you, every harm they caused, every manipulation they deployed, it's all being recorded and balanced. The universe sees what happened. The truth is known, even if it's not publicly acknowledged, and there will be consequences for their actions. Justice doesn't work on our human timeline, but it always comes. I'm seeing that part of why they can't stand watching you move forward is because your success is their karma. Every good thing that happens to you, every step forward you take, every moment of peace you find, it's a reflection of their failure to destroy you. Your resilience is literally the consequence they have to face for their actions. They have to watch you thrive without them, proving that you never needed them and that their impact on your life was ultimately limited. The Justice card is also about truth, and I'm getting that the truth about the situation is coming out or has already come out in ways they can't control. Maybe people are seeing their true nature, maybe their patterns are becoming obvious to others, maybe the mask is slipping. Justice ensures that eventually people reveal who they really are. And when that happens, all their attempts to paint you as the problem or to justify their behavior, those attempts fall apart. What's significant about justice in your reading is that you don't need to force this karma. You don't need to seek revenge. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The scales balance themselves. Your job is to keep being who you are. Keep moving forward. Keep choosing yourself. Justice will handle the rest. And on some level, they know this. They can feel that the cosmic scales are not tipping in their favor and watching you succeed while they face their own consequences. It's unbearable for them. Justice is also encouraging you to maintain your integrity throughout all of this. Don't let their energy pull you down to their level. Don't engage in the pettiness or the drama they might try to create. Your dignified forward movement is more powerful than any revenge could ever be. The truth speaks for itself, and you're living proof of that truth. The 9th card here is the 7 of Pentacles, and this is about the harvest, about reaping what you've sown, about patience and assessment of your progress. This card is showing me that you've been investing in yourself, in your healing, in your growth, and you're starting to see the results of that investment. The 7 of Pentacles appears when someone has been working hard, planting seeds, tending their garden, and now they're pausing to evaluate the growth. This is where you are, Pisces. You've put in the work, the therapy sessions, the hard conversations with yourself, the boundary setting, the self-care, all of it. And now you can see that it wasn't in vain. Things are growing, your life is improving, you're different than you were. What makes them crazy about your 7 of Pentacles energy is that it shows intention and patience. You didn't just survive what they did, you actively worked on yourself. You planted deliberate seeds for your future. You invested time and energy and resources into becoming someone stronger, wiser, more aligned. This level of self-investment is foreign to them because they're reactive, they're impulsive, they don't think long-term about personal growth. I'm seeing that you're at a point where you can look back at how far you've come and feel genuine pride. Not arrogant pride, but the quiet satisfaction of knowing you did the work when it was hard, when you didn't want to, when it would have been easier to give up. The 7 of Pentacles rewards that patience and persistence. This card is also about reassessment. You're looking at your life and figuring out what's working and what needs adjustment. Maybe some of the things you thought you wanted don't serve you anymore. Maybe new priorities have emerged. This mature, thoughtful approach to your own life shows a level of self-awareness and wisdom that they lack. And watching you make these conscious choices about your future while they're stuck in patterns, it highlights the difference between you. The 7 of Pentacles tells me that more harvest is coming. What you're seeing now is just the beginning of what your investments will yield. You're building something sustainable, something real, something that will continue to grow and provide for you. This long-term thinking, this faith in delayed gratification, it's part of what's propelling you forward while they remain stuck in immediate gratification cycles. The 10th and final card is the Lovers, and this is really interesting as the closing energy, because the Lovers isn't just about romantic love, it's about choices, alignment, and union. In this context, the Lovers is showing me that you've been making choices aligned with your highest good, choices that honor who you truly are. The Lovers card represents that moment when you choose yourself, when you choose your own path, when you choose alignment over comfort or familiarity. Every day that you move forward, you're making the choice to love yourself more than you fear being alone, to value your peace more than you miss what was familiar, to trust your own worth more than you need their validation. These are the choices the Lovers represents, and they're powerful. What this person can't understand is how you could choose yourself over them, over the situation, over the familiar patterns. The Lovers is showing that you recognized a fundamental misalignment between who you are and what that situation was offering you. You made the hard choice to honor that truth, and you've been consistently making that choice every day since. The Lovers can also indicate that you're moving toward or already in a phase where you're experiencing more aligned relationships. These might be friendships, might be romantic, might be professional, but they're connections based on mutual respect, genuine care, and authentic compatibility. You're attracting people who actually appreciate your sensitivity, your strength, your journey. This natural magnetism that comes from being aligned with yourself. It's another thing they have to witness while knowing they're not part of that picture. I'm getting that the Lovers is ultimately about the relationship you have with yourself. You've fallen back in love with your own life, with your own potential, with your own company. You've remembered that you're enough, that you were always enough, that their treatment of you was about their limitations, not yours. This self-love, this self-partnership, it's the foundation of everything else that's going well for you. The Lovers closes out this reading by emphasizing that you made the right choice. Whatever decision you made that moved you away from them or from that situation, it was aligned with your soul's path. And every piece of evidence that comes after that choice, every good thing that happens, every step forward you take, it confirms that the Lovers guided you true. They have to watch you flourish in the life you chose without them, and that's a reality they simply cannot accept. So Pisces, let me bring this all together for you. These 10 cards are painting a clear picture of a situation where someone genuinely cannot comprehend your resilience. They're stuck in their Seven of Cups illusions about how things should have gone, while you're out here being the magician, creating your reality. They thought you'd be trapped in the Eight of Swords, but instead, you're driving the chariot toward new horizons shown in the Three of Wands. You're carrying your 10 of Wands with grace, you're opening up with the Ace of Cups despite everything, and you're trusting that justice will balance the scales. You're tending your Seven of Pentacles garden patiently, and you're making lovers-aligned choices every single day. This is why they can't stand you. Your existence, your resilience, your growth, it contradicts everything they told themselves about you and about their power over you. Here's what I want you to understand. Their inability to cope with your strength is not your problem. Their confusion about how you're still standing is not something you need to explain. Their discomfort with your progress is not a reason to dim your light or slow your growth. Let them sit with their feelings while you continue becoming who you're meant to be. The cards are clear that you're on the right path. Everything you're doing, the healing work, the boundary setting, the forward movement, it's all leading you somewhere beautiful. Don't look back to check if they're watching. Don't slow down to make them comfortable. Don't shrink to ease their ego. Just keep being the magnificent example of resilience that you are. You're not just surviving what they did to you. You're transforming it into wisdom, strength, and a better life. That transformation is your power, and no amount of their resentment can take it from you. Keep moving forward, Pisces. The best is still ahead of you.